Hello, and welcome to Inconsequential Souls. So, we get to see some more Dark Souls 3 footage, and in my opinion, it was great. Now, to be specifics, one of the things I enjoyed was the perspectives of the different releases of footage from various different, I guess you would say, major players in the Dark Souls community. And what I enjoyed about the gameplay footage is that it kind of branched out in a way that allowed the players who were interested in certain aspects of the game to really dig into the portions of the game that they enjoy. So if it's anything from like the meta or advanced gameplay mechanics to lore, it was available for them to sink their teeth into it and really show you how the game shines in that way. On a personal note, unfortunately for me, I didn't get a copy of the game to, I would say, kind of play. I'm not sure if it was even a demo. It seemed as sort of like an agreement type play where you get the full game, but you have a certain obligation to keep certain things secret, and you only have a limited time to play it. So I don't know if that would be called a demo, but I'll just use the word because I can't think of a better one to use. But yes, no demo for me. So the things that I would have looked for personally, can't really talk about that. But that's not to say that the people who did get a copy didn't do great work. I saw some really interesting things about the game that I didn't think would be in it. It kind of exceeded my expectations in some instances. But the one thing that stood out to me was a little bit of gameplay mechanics. And when I say that, I'm talking about a specific NPC. Now, I'm focusing on this NPC mostly because it kind of points into a direction that I guess it points in a direction that kind of shows me that they're really taking this new version, or I would say the next installment of the series, very seriously, and they know what they're doing. And it's kind of hard to put it in words because I would have really liked to be able to show what I mean rather than have to kind of explain it from the peanut gallery. But I gotta do what I gotta do. Okay, so what I want to focus on is a specific NPC whose name is unknown, and I currently call that NPC the Swordmaster. Now, the cool thing about Swordmaster is that this character, or NPC, reinforces an ongoing theme in the Dark Souls series in a new way, in my personal opinion. Whereas they do storytelling, or I would say world building and immersion through showing you, or through you interacting with the world around you, rather than giving you this heavy-handed text dump or holding your hand. It's like they're telling a story through experiences, and that character was the perfect example of that. And this has been the only version of the Dark Souls series that it has been in, and I don't care what nobody else says. None of the characters in the series up until now, without using your imagination, if I'm being honest, have been as interesting as that character. Now, This isn't to say that that specific character is the most interesting character in Dark Souls 3. There are some really interesting characters in Dark Souls 3. My point is that that character, with no story behind him really, no name, probably, at least from what I suspect, even though there's no proof of this, probably no major role or has any major influence on the overall story. But still, if you would consider him just your average trash mob, you know, I'm saying that as if you're right. But if you consider him your average trash mob, or the average enemy they just kind of throw at you for challenge sake, that's saying some good stuff about the game, because if they're willing to put that much work into a character who's not even going to talk to you, or who probably isn't going to do anything for the rest of the game or have any other impact for the rest of the game, and appears this early, and it has such a dramatic impact on your experience, that's saying something. That means that they're probably doing the right stuff, in my opinion. Okay, so just in case I'm being weird, and there's some people out there who are just like, wow, man, really? Like, you're getting all amp about some half-naked guy with a katana? Really? Okay. Just in case that there's that person out there, let me explain myself. Okay, so in the previous Souls games, my main focus has been PvP. And the thing about PvP that I've learned, and it's very cliche and it's funny, but I've found it to kind of be true, is that you never really know someone until you fight them. And as cliche as it sounds, and it probably sounds a little strange and maybe really I don't want to say anime heavy, but really like fantasy, like warrior fantasy, like kind of fake, like one of those little the way you romanticize like combat. It's very true. I've learned that in both, you know, competitive gameplay and you know, martial arts. It's true. And the cool thing about my experience with Dark Souls is I really got to know a lot of players by how they fight. And that the one who I call Swordmaster, that NPC, reminds me of these characters, or I would say, I'm sorry, these players who now this Swordmaster guy doesn't represent them specifically, but what they'll do, right, is they'll wear something completely like corny, like a symbol of Everest helmet and some tattered robes. Like the clothes that the Swordmaster is wearing in the Dark Souls 3 gameplay clips resembles something called the Prisoner's Tatters in Dark Souls 2. And I'm serious, that's exactly what they wear. And they'll kind of put that on, they'll be barefoot, probably wear something like the Poison Moth gauntlets, maybe nothing at all. And they'll buff their katana with something like Dark Weapon, or it was two different type of dark buffs. I don't use a whole lot of magic in the series, so I don't know the official names for them, but there's these two types of buffs that have to do with dark magic. So they'll buff the katana, and they'll do ridiculous amounts of damage to you in a short time, and basically kill you. But they'll just be dressed in just next to nothing. Sometimes they'll just be completely naked. And that character or NPC really reminded me of those guys. And I kind of wonder if it's a head nod to them. It could be. I don't know. But aside from the humor of that particular NPC. The thing that really got me interested is I kind of feel like that was a true showcase in its purest form of what to expect with the combat mechanics in Dark Souls 3 by kind of stripping away all of the embellishments and kind of going to the raw fighting spirit of whatever weapon you're using, and it was pretty effective. It got my attention. I can't speak for anyone, but so it really got my attention, and it really made me happy because the style that I use with the katana in the arena, mostly in Dark Souls 2, was a really difficult struggle of trying to use the Bokjutsu style, or like the secret sword style, where I would hide my strikes in my distance when attacking my opponent, but I kind of had to overcompensate because there was no mechanic to I would say I can't, when I say trade hits with your opponent, what I really mean to say is strike them before they can hit you and do the greatest amount of damage that you can. Now, with the katana in Dark Souls 2, even though it was a great weapon, you had to go through the initial wind up, or I call it start up, and then the cooldown, which people call lag, of the attack. So you have to go through those animations. The cool thing about the sword art with that specific katana, I think it was called the Uchi katana, is that you can go ahead and start up your wind up, pause, and then strike with however powerful attack you want. That's what it appeared when the time is right, and kind of cut out the part where you have to, do the occasional wind up and then your opponent sees what you're doing. I like the idea of being able to threaten my opponent, where it's just like, okay, find a safe distance, do the wind up, now I'm ready to strike. Are you willing to try to test me and try to see if you can get past what I'm about to do to you? And you can't see the range of my attack or anything. It's sort of like it takes out all the extra stuff I had to add to that style to make it effective, and it's also pretty to look at. So there's that. Who knows? Maybe one of my favorite characters from my fighting game past might make an appearance in Dark Souls 3. Looks like it's possible. Again, I don't have the game, so my perspective is only from watching other people. I mean, I would have looked for different things, but I'm just a little channel with a little bit of subscribers, so who knows? Maybe the future will be different. Let's hope so. Anyway, this has been Inconsequential Souls, and I hope to see you